Okay. All right then. Let's take a. Okay. All right. Okay. Um. Okay. All right. And okay. Okay. Let's do something here. Let's. Um. I'm going to use a very suspect phrase to describe this. Let's investigate. Very suspect phrase, wouldn't you say? Let's investigate this transgender thing chronologically. Okay? Like, like what is it really? Like, what is it really about? From a from a from a chronological standing point. Um, as I pick up my ginger ale and coffee. Pardon me. Chronologically, and so okay, right off the bat, let's ask the question: what is it really about? I'm not gonna. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie and say that I know everything about it because I don't. But I can tell it. But we can break this case wide open if. But we can crack open this transgender case. And are you? If anybody would be interested in finally, getting it straight the first time, instead of having to go through every video in the book in YouTube to figure out what this thing is. Now, I'm not going to figure it out. I'm just going to try to say, okay, say you're in YouTube and you're trying to find videos on every angle of this transgender exterior thing. Sure, okay, you can do that, but what about? Sure, okay, you can do that, but hang on to your suspended pants and like beer goggles, but hang on to your like sure you can do that. You can browse YouTube till you're blue in the face and kind of get half nowhere or nowhere at all, trying to take every angle of what the transgender thing is really about. Well, I want to find this out with you. Like, I want to find this out, and I'm sure there's others that are more smart about this than I am. But I want to creak. But I would like to crack this transgender case wide open and expose it to crime, to I don't know. But I would like to get this transgender exterior stuff a lot closer to the brains won't look of it, like, I mean, it first of all, it's not that hard to figure this thing out. If you do it chronologically, like at a chronological standing point. Uh, it, for, for, First of all, the inside of a person is a lot different, it, and it, and that's not where they hold their emotional, and they hold a lot of their, and they hold everything emotional, and and it's more emotional in there. It's more, you know, the heart, and like I mean, on the outside of a person, or more presumably on the outside of a transgender person, maybe, or if you want to go with uh, with the woman kind of this, with male or female, let's go woman here, female, um, in that, uh, in this, like, so here's an idea. Like, transgender, a transgender black woman can only, depending on how thick, sorry, depending on how thick the transgender exterior is, okay? It's it it's depending on that. It's depending on how heavy and thick, you know, emotionally and uh and stuff like that. You know, it depends. It depends how thick and heavy the emotional baggage, the emotional and the whatever baggage that comes with that. You know, it, like, I mean, hmm, like it depends on how heavy and thick. It depends how thick and how heavy the uh, the woman or the guy, uh, uh, the woman has. You know, it depends on how heavy and how how heavy and thick this exterior is. You know, of the transgender line. Like somewhere in there, somebody got misled, thinking that they were men pretending to be women. Like, what is that? If you ask me, that's a whole lot of gross looking right at you. You know, like, I mean, if you ask me, that's a whole lot of if you ask me, that's what, if you were to ask me, that's a whole lot of stupid and gross looking right at you with two eyes. Like, I mean, who's coming up with this crap? Transgender women are like, you know, maybe, like, you know, like in a word, um very interesting people, smart, funny, they gentlemen, they, they're genius at figuring things out. um they, they know what they want. They know, they know they know the parameters of what they want, but when it comes to the, but at the end of the day, do they know, like here's something I read my seeing in YouTube sometime. Somebody saying to somebody, I like you. Oh, oh, you're transgender? Well, okay, that's all right. I got no complaints. I'm a little I don't have the education to know what that is, so perhaps we can talk over a coffee or a bottle of wine. Sorry, coffee. I don't really have the history. I don't really have the knowledge to know what that is, so perhaps we could get together sometime. Over a coffee or over a hot or a bowl of soup at some restaurant, and we can talk about it if you want. Or we don't have to talk about it at all. We could just talk in general, like the general conversation. Hi, how's it going? I'm so and so. Okay. Your name is so and so. All right. Okay, we got that far. You know, why not that? Why why not slice this transgender exterior in half and let the woman, sorry, and let this little and let and let the person, this little lady, uh, bring out her true feelings instead of bringing out her transgender exterior and saying, "Well, okay, but I'm transgender." Nice try, but no. Like, I mean, this is not a person with a like. This is a person with a label, okay, with a label, quote unquote. And, it's up to the guy to observe. Well, it's not just up to the guy. It's up to the woman too. You know, it's up to the. Okay. Let's rewind this thing. Let's start over. Transgender exterior. Okay, you're calling it a transgender exterior. You're calling it transgender. You're calling this whatever you want to call it. Okay, fine, but how far is that really going to get you? Like it, like it, like if you're that scared. Like I mean, if you're that, like I mean, if you're, like I mean, like when you think, like when you look at this, it this this is a very uh, like when you look at this, it's not so black as you would appear. Uh, Sorry, as it would appear of this transgendering stuff, because it's uh, and they came up with the word for this, uh, which I'm surprised is even a word, transphobic. It's like as if that kind of means something. Like as if that's like as if that comes with the McDonald's Happy Meal, right? Like come on, who invented that word? I'll never know, it, but let's take a look at this, all right? Chronologically, what is the transgender exterior, and what does it do? Okay, like I mean, seriously, let's take a look at this, crack it down, and build it back up. The transgender exterior, the transgender exterior is the same thing as the Down syndrome exterior, the Asperger's exterior, the the you know, it's a need. It's a need, but it doesn't mean it's got to be a. But it doesn't mean it's got to be your everything. Like, like it's a need of a type. Uh, like it's a like no, it's a kind of it's a need, but when it's not being used in a proper way, a proper status, um, people get confused and they easily assume, oh, this is a guy in women's clothing, makeup, lipstick. Oh, this is, you know, yeah, no, come on. Where, like, I mean, what part of the transgender exterior says that I'm a guy, right? Now, okay, let's say let's say this. No, let's not say this. There are guys that are transgender. You, you, to, you totally got my vote in that. But leave it at that, okay? Do not. If you're a guy if you're a transgender guy, like if you're a guy with that exterior, for crying out loud, do not put on a dress and do not put on, you know, uh, makeup and whatever else, and, and try to make it and try to think of yourself as a transgender woman. Like I'm surprised as anyone else to hear me say to hear and see me say this, but geez, come on. Like I mean, talk about public humiliation. Talk about public humiliation. When a guy would go down to that level, when he's already transgender, and he's gonna make believe he's a woman, and put the clothes of a woman on, put a dress on, this and that. Like you don't need to do that. Just say I'm openly transgender and I'm a guy. You know, that's all you have to do. Just come up with it. Just be like, you know, first of all, you should be happy being a guy. First of all, you should be happy as a guy to express how you feel. And a woman. You know? Like you don't see women going around in guys' clothes, do you? And trying to think of themselves as transgender guys. That's just plain creepy. You know, and on the top and on top of it, Ripley's Believe It or Not disgust. And look and over there and and, and over there disgusting like you wouldn't believe. Like wow, like I mean come on. Like either just come up with it in your own original, you know, you don't have like if you're a guy and you're transgender, just say you're transgender. Don't go all out, put a dress on and the pantyhose and put on the makeup and then try to make the statement that you're a transgender woman. Okay? Don't even go there. The, that 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 right there is more than humiliating. That is like washing your face with an that that would be like using an elephant's ear for a towel after you come out of the shower. You know, like what? Like first of all, when did the elephant get into the bathroom? Right? And why are you using its ear for a towel? Like I mean, it like you know what I mean? Yeah, like like you know what like you know what I mean? Like this like I mean this like putting down transgender women and making them look like this and that. That's not fair. That like you know think about it for a minute. Think about what you're saying, doing, and putting down who you're putting down. Take a look at what you're saying, what you're doing, and who you're putting down. You're putting down yourself by putting down someone who did nothing to you. You know, like in other words, they did not deserve this one way or the other. They, like I mean, come on. Like I mean, when did the whole world like? When did you have to like? When? did you get that depressed? Like, when did you have, like, when did you get so depressed that you could act out your, um, like, I mean, since when did you get so depressed that you didn't like yourself enough as your true blue self? And then you go ahead and put on, and then you go ahead and then get your dress, and then you put the makeup on and the pantyhose and the slacks and the makeup, and then you're like, oh, now I'm accepted because I'm a transgender woman. No, 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 come on. Get away from that stuff. Like, this is R-rated material. Either say you're, like, if you're a guy and you're transgender, say that you are a guy who's transgender, or a woman and you're transgender. But don't go around putting on, putting on airs that oh, I don't, you know, but don't go around putting on airs because someone said that you look better in a dress and makeup. Like you don't have to go there if you're a guy. No, forget I said that. You don't have to go there at all. If you're a guy and you're transgender, you should be proud to be transgender without getting gross. And I'm sorry if this is a little trippy here. It's my first time cracking open this transgender thing chronologically. It's my first time doing that, but you know what I mean, though, right? Like, come on. Like, I'm sorry if this is a really trippy brainstorm stream. I'm sorry about that, but but this is something I felt I had to put out. Like, just truly, with that. Oh, I don't like myself that much. I'm not accepted as a guy. It, like I- like I, but don't you know? It's a good thing Halloween only comes once a year because that's the only time. Uh, okay, I'm a toilet mouth right now. Sorry about that. That's better. Mm. I'll put it this way. You know what? I can't put it that way. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you what I'll do. Chronologically here, let's, you know, as we run the videotape. I'm so sorry. All right. Anyway, um, anyway, but basically, what I'm just saying is, don't, you know, this transgender thing is real funny. Actually, it's more interesting. Actually, this transgender cracking open, like, I've never done this before. Okay, please bear with me. But like, it's like Santa Claus in a tutu. Like, you know, like who, like transgender women, black, I say, black transgender women, or You know, they're fine. And I'm surprised I'm saying transgender. No, I'm not. I'll put it this way. If you're smart enough to just say you're open, if you're smart enough, if you're, I'll put it this way, all right? If you're smart enough to, hmm, if you're smart enough to grab, like, okay, try, if you're smart enough to grab your tongue and pull it, if you're smart enough to, to, um, to keep your tongue, like, if you're smart enough to, to, um, hmm. Okay, I'm just gonna say what I was trying to say originally here because I've cracking open this thing, this transgender thing, and doing a terrible job of it too here. But I'm just gonna say what I was trying to say originally. If I can say it right. Um, trans like I think I need to get very sensitive about this right now because so many people have misgendered and misread um, uh, the transgender women line as cis or whatever. Like well, to be honest,